Well, hello, everyone.
Hi,
Welcome.
everyone.
It's Carla from Quilting by the River.
And Lynn from Lynn Wheatley Designs.
Nice to see you.
Yes, it's been a while. Actually,
It's
it's been a month.
it's been a
It,
month.
it was a month ago when we were here live chatting, and we haven't
I
really
left.
chatted much since then, and that's
Oh,
unusual for us.
I know. I left the next day, off across the pond to jolly England, to visit the kids, um, and been there for an entire month. Had the gamut of English weather. We arrived, it was cold. And prior to leaving, I had asked Lauren, I said, what's the weather? Oh, Mom, it's so hot. So I had packed shorts, T-shirts. Thank goodness I packed a zipper hoodie and a sweater, because I basically lived in two pairs of pants, a T-shirt, and my zipper hoodie and my fleece vest, because it was chilly for most of the time. And goodness you're at your daughter's house, because I kept doing laundry. Not that I didn't have two full suitcases of clothes, not appropriate, until the last 2 days. And then they went into a heat wave. It was the hottest they've ever had in England, for the month of May. It was melting. I mean, we get hot, 90s, but it was hot. But I did all kinds of really cool stuff. Went to a point-to-point horse race with the family and the in-laws.
Wow.
But it was mighty chilly that day. Again, not enough clothes. I was just going to go there in a winter jacket and a bathing suit. They're just going to be the standards when I go. What's the weather today? Do I wear my winter coat or do I put my bathing suit on? The horse race was wonderful. I love horses. Had my own at one point, so that was pretty cool. And what else fun did we? Oh, we had Mother's Day for the first time in years and years and years. I've had Mother's Day with my daughter, so we all went out to the pub for Sunday lunch. And the last weekend that I was there, so what would that have been? The 23rd was my oldest granddaughter, Yana's 6th birthday. And the kids being my daughter and son-in-law and their children. So the kids and Jim and I were treated to glamping in a cabin in Arundel, where we went to the Arundel Castle for the day and saw a medieval festival. So all was fun. It was fun.
Nice.
Got a bit of a runny nose, but that's what you get when you have
When you
travel. So,
but what did you do? Anything that was quilty?
oh my goodness. So, far and wide. One day, Lauren, so in the midst of all this, my daughter had ACL surgery. So it was almost like the universe knew that Mom was coming. So, let's rip the ACL and have my repair surgery done while my mother was across the pond. So she was hobbling around on crutches, and she's very active and busy, and and so you could only keep her sitting for a few days. And she said, Mom, there's a quilt show in Cranley. Want to go? And I'm like, there's a quilt show? I want to go. So anyway, off we went to Cranley. She was hobbling around on her crutches, and we went to the community center, and they had a quilt show, and I met some very lovely ladies. So hopefully the ladies are watching probably the reruns, because it's the middle of the night right now. So hello everybody in Cranley, all the quilters off in and about the area. But yeah, lovely ladies. They had some beautiful quilts. And a little while later on in the segment, Lynn, when we have our show and share segment, I'll show you what I picked up because they're absolutely lovely.
So there's Carla at her little quilt show.
Yeah, we were in Guildford. They call it the Guildford Quilt Show, but we were actually in the little village of Cranley. So she lives south of London, so not in the city, in the countryside. So there's all kinds of little villages. You drive 10 minutes and you're in a little village. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So hi, Doreen. I see you're watching from the back seat while driving home from the baseball game. So Doreen's a dedicated follower of ours. I love that, Doreen, and that I hope the baseball game went in your favor, of course. So we love watching our family and all our friends play in their sports games. We've been doing that for years. So yeah, so it sounds like you had a great trip. Lots of important to have lots of good time with family.
But Lynn, keep me in check tonight because I'm a little bit sleepy.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
If you caught the news, my husband and I were supposed to fly home on Tuesday. We got up in the morning, got to the airport on time at 9 o'clock, loaded the plane at 12 o'clock. We took off. It was all good. We were sitting there 2 hours into our flight. The pilot comes on and says, "I'm very sorry to announce that we will be turning around and returning back to London. We are having mechanical difficulties, and it has been advised that we turn around and go back to London." So we had a little airplane ride. We went up for 2 hours, turned around, and came back, at which point we were notified that they will be rebooking us for the next day. So as opposed to going back in the middle of the heat wave to my daughters for the night in their hot spare bedroom, we opted to take Air Canada up on their setting us up next to the airport in an air-conditioned hotel. So you unpack, get up the next day. It was almost like Groundhog Day. The only problem was there was transatlantic planes. They're huge. There was 400 people or whatever on the plane. Not everybody got the same flight. We ended up boarding. Our flight was 2:30 out of London. We arrived at like 5 o'clock Canada time with a 9 o'clock into Ottawa. So they flew us into Ottawa and then 5-hour layover, Ottawa to Toronto. And we live north. We thought about renting a car to drive home because it would have been 6 hours to home if we would have driven, but the car was in Toronto. So yeah, it was a bit of a long day. We rolled in here at 3 a.m. this morning. So
yeah. So Carla's running on fumes.
Yeah.
But we're glad she's home. We've got lots to catch up on. Hi, Carol. I'm glad you found us. So since you've been gone, what have I been doing? Well,
yeah, where have you been?
Well, I had to take a couple weeks to kind of unwind from, my trip to Paducah, teaching at AQS, and I still hadn't unpacked from our cruise. So, and then there was all these medical appointments. You know how when you travel back to back like that, everything gets piled up. So it was like 7 straight weekdays of at least 1 or 2 appointments a day for some reason or another, whether it was car, your checkup, this, that, the dentist. It was just like, it was one thing after another. So finally kind of got through that. And I started teaching my block of the month over and under at Middlebury Sew and Back, the Quilter's Corner. So that started while you were gone. And I also visited the Cochico Guild in Dover, New Hampshire, did a lecture with them, and then a curve piecing class last week. Yeah, and now I'm, getting ready for the next couple of things. I also have lots of long arming to do. I got 9 quilts out during that time where I was trying to catch up and do all the paperwork and everything. And I go to drop 3 quilts off with someone and she handed me 5. And I'm like, what? So anyway, my quilters, between weddings and graduations and being stuck inside all winter, they have been quilting up a storm. So I still have a pretty good backlog, but I've been trying to work through those, especially the ones that are timely for events.
I was fortunate before I left. I had one, and the quilter goes away in the winter. So in the fall, she drops off a quilt, which is, I mean, it's life, right? So all of you out there who drop the quilts off months in advance and disappear out of the country for the winter and then come back and go, is my quilt ready? We forget about you. Like, it goes to the bottom of the pile. Anyway, she called and she said, oh, I'm back. Is my quilt ready? And it's like, no, and I'm leaving. But she's very, very understanding and doesn't need it as a gift or anything. So that is early next week. Back on the long arm. That's what we do.
Yep. So the long arm is continuing to run in between all the other tasks we have here. But while Carla was gone and I was home, we both received shipment. Yeah, so check it out. Boxes. Okay, I'm gonna go for, you know how they always do this? You know how they always do this on the quilt shows? Oh, yeah. On the quilt, the quilt stores, I'll go open the box Tuesday. So I'm gonna open my box. Yeah. Open box Tuesday. So these boxes that Lynn and I received are our fabric for our quilt samples for Island Batik. Because our patterns, you can't see my face now. Our patterns got selected, and it's really pretty. You can't see it till September. Ha ha. Yeah, so I can't show you what's in that box. However, this round I submitted 2 designs, both were chosen, and they chose one of them to be done in their foundations line, which is fabric that is readily available every day. So I get to show you one basics. So we can one of the collections for one of my new designs. So here's one of the sets of fabric. I'm surprised that blue is a foundation, because it looks. Yes, it is. It's called Mardi Gras. Nice. And so I'm really excited about that. So I've got two designs that are all drafted up and ready to go, and we'll be cutting those out after my next road stint, which is coming around the corner. So all of you quilters out there, when you're listening to Lynn, do you get tired when she says, okay, so I came home, slept for 4 days, took off on the road again? Yeah, so I've now gotten accustomed to, when I unpack from a trip, I actually have the suitcases mapped out for the next trip. So when I unpacked from last week's guild, I immediately packed up for this weekend's road trip. So it just moved from one suitcase to the other in a different combination. Yeah. We were talking about this today, Lynn, you and I, and the difference between you and I is you live on the road and the quilters come here to my house and the loft. Yeah. So, yeah. So we're in the middle of yard will start now, along with the midst of black flies and mosquitoes are out, which, but lofters begin at the end of the month. I don't do a lot of lofters in the middle of summer, but, because it's hot and humid and we don't have air conditioning in the loft. So I don't want anybody to stifle up there. But I do have a few sets coming in over the next couple of weeks. So that we do our thing. Yeah. So we've got brand new fabric to play with, which is always fun. It's always distracting. And the things that it's really hard to make sure you don't put too many things on the back burner when you get distracted by the new fabric, because then that just piles up and then there's a problem at the other end. And, mind you, we have deadlines with these boxes of fabric. Yeah, we do. Yeah. And hey, Terry Sue's joined us. Hi, Terry Sue.
So
Yeah. So Sunday, I will be at Patch's Quilt Loft in Manchester, promoting my block of the month, Over and Under. This little guy right here, this guy this has seen a lot of traction all over the country. And it's just a beautiful quilt, and it's a 6-month program. So I'm headed down there to do a little promotion for that shop, get everybody excited. She's going to start in June. She's actually ordered 2 rounds of fabric. So she's going to start a 12-person block of the month, and then she's hoping to do one right behind it. So yeah, the fabric ordering. So I learned a little bit more about how they've changed this. It used to be when a fabric line came out, they would manufacture a whole bunch, and then all the pre-orders would get filled, but they would manufacture some overage. Yeah. And then it would be in stock. Well, that's not the case anymore. They're actually manufacturing to ordering. So when you order fabric now from Island Boutique on these new lines, even though it's in its, in its active range of dates, it takes 6 months to get the fabric in, because your order then gets queued up for the next run, and then it has to come all the way out here. So anyway, so you can't just go there. Like if the shop would run out of background, they can't just go to Island Boutique and say, can you ship me one more bolt of background for this quilt? They don't have it, because they only bring in what is under commitment. Yeah. Anyway, so that's an interesting, it's interesting when we are working in the other side of it.
Haven't received my shipment of Frosted Wishes for the kit for Clarny yet. And I ordered that back in October. Yeah. October.
Yeah. And actually these fabrics were almost a month late coming in. They were supposed to be shipped last week of April, and they just came in last week. So, but I just think that that's part of today's world, is that there's a delay in even the best plans and the best forecasting. There's just delays. So anyway, that's I'm headed on Sunday down there to do that, and then midweek I head to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I've been going down there in June for the last few years to the Mid-Appalachian Quilters yearly symposium. So it's a 3-day event, 3-day, 3-night event, and I'm teaching the full gambit. I'm doing collage one day, and then Abby's puzzle, and then I'm doing a Quilter's Choice Posh Holiday series. So that's where I'm headed, and I'll be back on the 9th of June. So to work with my new fabrics. Yeah. So, but I do love going on the road. I do love teaching people. So
I think that if you've got to love the teaching part to do the travel part. I think.
You do.
Yeah. While I was in England at the Quilters Guild, I sort of let them know my daughter lived in England, and if they wanted me, I have no problem. I'll be back at Christmas. So they were awfully excited. So hopefully good news there. I have a question for you, Miss Lynn.
What?
So for all of us that did not attend Paducah, because it's such a cool thing, did you get pictures? Are you going to share?
Yes, I am going to share. So, so I went to Paducah, and there's lots of different things about Paducah. Not only is there quilts, there's a really fun city. So anyway, I went there, and there were a couple of really famous things that I heard about. And the first one was this absolutely stunning, very famous bakery called Kirchhoff's. And so during Quilt Week, they make cookies that are quilt blocks. You can see the quilt blocks, and then the flowers, and the state of Kentucky with Paducah, a little star right there. So anyway, I immediately went down there and got a box full of these shortbread cookies that are hand iced.
Now you saved all those cookies and brought them home. Did you not?
Oh, no. No, I shared them with all my friends that I saw in Paducah. Yeah. And so,
Crumbs
and
the
you know,
bed.
we know that quilters love food. So I think this is really appropriate that I focus on both food and our craft. So those cookies were absolutely wonderful. So the next thing is, I also heard about this. Very, very famous. The Boy Scout troop, they have their own food truck, and they are famous for strawberry shortcake.
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
God, everybody talks about this. Okay. So one day I had a full day class and I got to actually have lunch instead of changing from one class subject to the another during lunch. I actually got to go outside. And so check out, I got the works. It is a biscuit. It is fresh strawberries, pureed strawberries, ice cream, and then whipped cream on top. You know what? It's the best $10 I ever spent. And I ate the whole thing. So, what's up next? Well,
Oh,
there's always a little bit of shenanigans that goes on. So, this is a colleague of mine, Jackie O'Brien, and she was also teaching at AQS. And we
now Jackie's a CI, or a certified instructor for Studio 180 with us, but Jackie lately in the last few years has really come onto her own and is sort of like the, what do you want to call her?
She's the queen of One Black Wonders.
Wonder Block. Yes.
She's made about, I think maybe now 130 One Black Wonders.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's extremely talented with this. So she was there doing her One Black Wonder class, and also some other 60-degree blocks like the log cabin. So the kaleidoscope block.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jackie and I took 2 minutes, ran out onto the show floor, grabbed the props, took the photo. So just part of the fun that you have when you go to one of these shows. You run into your friends and you make just the most of every minute you have. So yeah. So here is Color My World. Now this is the best of show quilt. This was done by Karen K. Buckley. And I saw this quilt. I think she did a Facebook post when she completed it. This quilt took a year on the long arm with her. She did I think a post or an article I read about this. So it was on her long arm. It is appliqued. Yep. And you'll see a couple of close-ups. So here is some of their quilting on it. And that is all her applique. You know, she's the queen of applique. She retired a few years ago, and is now
do we know if Karen K. Buckley, does she do hand needle turn, or is she using applique?
Hand needle turn. She was way before applique.
Okay.
At least I can't tell you that. I assume she's doing the same techniques that she always has done.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. So this is part of the quilting and the some of the applique. And here is a better picture of the applique. So it is just absolutely stunning quilt. And yeah, it was just, I don't know, the quilts blow me away. So, and I'm only going to show a few because here's another quilt. So this is The Visitation. Now, Karen K. Buckley won Best of Show. This is The Visitation by Ricky Timms. And this is best stationary machine quilting. So he quilted this on his stationary machine.
So is domestic?
His domestic machine. Okay.
And
so
not a sit down long arm, the one that sits.
It's a stationary machine. I don't know how big the machine is. I can't tell you how big the throat is, but it's a stationary machine sunk into a table, and he's moving the quilt, not moving the machine. Okay.
Carol Berry just jumped in and said that Karen K. Buckley uses her templates with sizing to iron over. So that's
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And mm, so you also had strawberry shortcake for lunch. Excellent. Oh, I love it. It was so good. Oh. All right. So here is a close up. Oh, it's a little bit of moving picture, but this is a close up of that quilt. So the corner of the visitation, and you can see just all of the quilting that he's done in this. It's just mind-boggling that and I don't know how long it took him to make this. But it's just really stunning. Let's see.
I'd lose my desire.
Well,
Like when you kilt, like you've got to really be invested to work on something that intricate and time consuming.
Yeah, you have to have like no timeline, or you have to be ready for the timeline if it has a deadline. You know, these I don't know if, you know, these famous artists like Ricky Timms or Karen K. Buckley or any of the people who are always submitting quilts all the time, whether they just continually work on these things, and then once the piece is done, they then start submitting it into the, you know, and circulating around to these big judge shows. I don't really know. I think that's how it happens. I don't think they say, I'm going to have this done April next year or whatever. I think it's more likely that they work on it, and when it's starting to approach its completion, that's when they start.
Yeah.
But
even the man hours to finish something like
the man hours in these quilts is
just, you know,
it's just phenomenal to me.
I'd have too many UFOs in my cupboard at that point.
Yeah. Someday we'll have a discussion about that again. So this guy is Pink Lemonade.
And that is cute.
So this sort of shows the sizing. So I'm going to go back again. See that in the corner, the dogwood ribbon on this quilt? Okay. Now, there's the dogwood ribbon. And these dogwood ribbons, I actually had a student whose parents came to Paducah every week, not recent years, but 20 years ago, to help make those handmade dogwood ribbons, the rosettes on the ribbons. Anyway, I got sidetracked. But this quilt is like 20 by 20.
So the blocks are what, 2 inches? No.
So here, you ready?
Yeah.
There's a block. And those logs on that pineapple, those rings, are 1/8 of an inch.
Oh my. Okay. So is this okay? So I'm trying to. I mean, I like miniatures, but 1/8 of an inch. Is this paper piece?
I have no idea. I don't know. But anyway, it was in the miniature series. But anyway, so I just wanted to show you what this miniature that I fell in love with. Yeah, but it's tiny. And, you know, when you look at this, you might think that, you know, if you didn't have the perspective of the lettering on the sign, you might think it was a lap quilt.
Yeah.
You know, and
I had no idea it was a miniature.
Yeah. All right. Who's next? Oh,
wow.
So this guy, this thing was 2-dimensional. You know, this thing stuck out at you. It was not totally flat. You can see the beard of the lion kind of like coming forward, the chin, right? But it was just absolutely stunning. And all the workmanship to map this out, cut all the pieces, you know, get them all quilted, get them in there. It's just, to me, it was one of the art pieces that was unusual and just so well done. So anyway, there's what it looks like. It's just,
Batiks. They're batiks.
yeah, they are. And there's a lot of stitching on this. All right, I wonder what the next picture is since I can't see ahead. All right, so we're moving on. So this is just a small section of what was, I want to say, there are 3 high. I want to say that maybe 240 maybe quilts in the cherry wood challenge, which was Abyss. Okay, and it was using that teal colored fabric, and they put out a challenge that says, here's the fabric, do what you want, here's the theme, and they have one that runs every year. And then it travels around to different quilt shows. AQS usually has it at theirs, and they did. So I just wanted to show you it because it's just, there's so many different ideas about how to bring forward this fabric and techniques.
I'm surprised that so many of them are oceanic.
Yeah, I think that was part of the theme.
Okay.
Yeah. So here is,
oh my goodness,
a fish, and the embellishing and the 3D dimension. I took it sort of so you could actually see that it was,
yeah,
kind of brought forward. But I was just struck by all the creativity, and, just different color schemes and different materials used to embellish. Yeah. And this is a great example of how value can do the work for you. You don't have to have the texture or the embellishing. The value really here is they just did such a really nice job at the value of that big urchin. So, yeah. All right. Let's see, what do we have now?
You're eating again.
Yeah. So this was the thinnest, freshest potato chip. It's like they put it through this machine, and it is just as fine and thin, but it's freshly cooked. So anyway, I got this. So my week started at Paducah. Tuesday afternoon, I went to do the awards dinner ceremony. And then I taught all week. And on Wednesday night, I did the all-star event. So teach all day, do an evening event. Thursday, I taught all day. And then I did the game night, which was a combination of charades, Pictionary, and Password, which I won a new generation mini Aliso iron. So I had to pack that and bring it home on an airplane. But anyway, so then my week ended at noon teaching on Saturday. I taught Friday night. And then I got the afternoon to walk the show. So that's when I took all those pictures of the quilts. And then I had a small break at which I got I ate these potato chips, fresh hot potato chips. And while I was eating it, I was sitting with one of the new friends that I met along the way, another instructor. And then I did my last event for AQS, and I have volunteered since I've been teaching with them to handle and package the more delicate quilts at the end of the show. So the best of show, I packaged up the lion. You can imagine what it's like to try and gently handle some of these fancy quilts.
So what does he go in, a box or a bag, or?
Well, actually, he's actually wrapped around a acid paper protected kind of mold. So he does actually come and fit in a larger box. He actually goes in a larger box. Some of them are rolled. Lots of them have custom packaging with them. Many of them have custom packaging with them. So I've been doing this for a few shows now, and it's kind of nice to just help out those guys. Nancy Mahoney and I have done it last 2 shows together, and we go in there for a couple hours, package up. We do all the rolling of the quilts, and then like we do all the weird packaging, like the lion and stuff. So then my night ended about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it caught a couple hours of sleep. And AQS said to me, he says, well, you know, you've been working with us for a while. We trust you enough. Would you mind if you drove yourself to the airport in one of our vehicles? So they actually gave me one of their trucks, and I got up at 2:45 in the morning because nobody else wanted to get up at 2:45 and take me to the airport. So I actually flew right into Paducah. And so I took another instructor from the hotel, and we traveled off in the truck. And in Kentucky style, they just said, lock the truck, put the keys in the gas cap. So, yep. And at 5 o'clock, I took off and was on my way home. But yeah, my trip to Paducah was just so fun. I met a whole bunch of great quilters. And the one thing I love about the AQS system is that you're in a sponsored classroom. I have a great educator with me. Every time I've been there, they've just been stellar. The machines are always running right. They're ready. Yeah. She's helpful with anything. And
we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, maybe when we were on the cruise together, and I did Paducah back in 2000. So 26 years ago. But back then when you took classes, you brought your own machine. So, and the venues changed since then, but we drove down. But just the hassle of lugging it with you from class to class,
right,
and setting it up, like you had to be in class half an hour early to set up. Now their class changes can be bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, we change, I change the class twice during the week. I teach half days, both morning and afternoon, and we change a class over in an hour and a half. So that means that, everybody's got to pack up. I got to change all the stuff over. The machining person's got to go through all the machines. And it's a very well-oiled machine, and it works great. And I couldn't be happier than my opportunity to teach for them. Yeah. So that's, there are so many photos from Paducah and so many quilts, but I wanted to show just a few that I really loved. So it was a great trip. Yeah.
It's just astounding when you go to something of that caliber and you get to see some of those quilts that people have worked on, like our Kathy Wiley here in Canada, who does all the applique. You saw one of Kathy's quilts not too long ago.
Yeah, when I was at Lancaster, I saw her quilt. So Carol Berry, who's on tonight, her quilt was in Paducah as well, and it was on the other side of the curtain. Yes.
Yay, Carol! Your friend Lynn forgot.
Carol's very talented. Yeah, she was in my class and showed me something that she did, not in my class, but she brought it to class to show me, and she's inspired me. So I had a really good time with those guys. So.
Well, that is really.
So where are we going with all of this?
It's show season, and I just wanted to let my gang know, because I get sent all kinds of little, because I guess my reach is a little bit bigger. We all get sent posters about upcoming quilt shows. So anybody out there in Ontario, now that the weather is nicer and the driving, grab your girlfriends. What's coming up in Ontario? We've got, what's the first one? June 5 and 6, the Muskoka Quilters Guild. Pine Tree Quilters Guild is having their quilt show in Bracebridge. If you're out and about, I guess that's next weekend. The 6th and 7th of June, Behind the Seams Quilt Show hosted by the Trent Valley Quilters Guild. So all sort of in the same neck of the woods. Haliburton Highlands Quilters Guild is doing Coming Home Quilt Show, and that's June 19th and 20th. Don't forget our Canadian annual CQA Quilt Canada is in Winnipeg this year, June 17, 20. So if you're out on holiday or haven't thought about it yet, you can definitely drop by and see our national quilt show. And it's pretty astonishing just from a Canadian perspective. Prince Edward County Quilters Guild has their show coming up July 11th and 12th. So if you want to know, all you do is punch in to your browser, your Google or Safari, quilt shows in Ontario for spring of 2026, and you should have the pop-up list, but lots to do in the area.
So Carol Berry says she's fortunate enough to have one of those magnolia ribbons. Yeah.
Congratulations. Way to go.
Absolutely. You know, they're just really special. Yeah. So for us here in Vermont, you'll see I'm wearing an older Vermont Quilt Festival logoed shirt. Well, June is like 2 days away, and a new entity is coming to Vermont to start up a quilt show again. So there's a quilt show called the Vermont Quilt Show. And it's a little different. A Quilter's Destination is the company that's doing it. And they're coming into the Doubletree in South Burlington. And it's free to attend. Parking's free and it's free to attend. So it is June 18th through the 20th. There are classes. I know this is really weird. I chose to just go as a quilter. So
we got to do that sometimes. Every once in a while, we've got to go and just be one of those guys.
Yeah. So I'm going to meet some family and go and visit the quilt show and see what it's all about. But yeah, that's June 18th through the 20th. So if you're around in Vermont and you want to check it out, you should do that. All right. So
what do we got? Oh, industry news.
Yeah. So
you've got news.
Well, so here's the skinny. I went to Paducah, and I expected potentially that the economy might have an impact. The economy is having an impact here in the States. There's no doubt in my mind. Things cost more money. People are doing a little bit less. Yep. It's harder to do some things. However, I will say that Paducah had its best numbers. Okay. I did, when I showed up to the teachers meeting, 87 out of 137 classes were sold out prior to the online registration closing the week as the show started. And when I went out on the floor a couple of times briefly at the end of the day, it was clear that booths were running out of inventory. Now, I've not seen that in a while. Yes. And so people were out and spending money in this industry.
Well, I'm going to say, and again, I'm an avid get out person. I just get excited to know that people are actually getting out and doing stuff and seeing what's out there and getting inspired and, doing other things. So
yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with all of the hustle, the bustle, the activity. There wasn't that feeling of reservation. People were just very happy and very joyful and just enjoying everything, doing everything, eating strawberry shortcake every day. It's just like, so from that point, I think that things are a little bit healthy in our community.
That year
I worry about with the economy, because it is it's a luxury sport.
Yeah. So it's a hobby sport. And when things get tight, you buckle down on the non-necessities. So the year that I came down and vended with you in Vermont, we had seen at that point an alarming decline.
Yeah.
And it's true. And we'll get there someday, Lynn, where we're going to go to a quilt show and go, no, I have too much fabric. I'm not buying anymore. Ha ha. But I mean, our population, the age group that we predominantly deal with, if you've been doing it for, 20, 30 years, you really don't need to shop like you did 26 years ago when you didn't have anything or had a full-time job and a steady income. There's all these factors that come into play. So it's good to know that it is surviving and well.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I didn't buy fabric in Paducah. So honestly,
you got 2 new boxes just sent to you. So come on now.
So, well, I got the iron. I won the iron. And so I'm like, how much more room do I have? Because, I have a lot of stuff going out to the classrooms and I ship a lot of stuff ahead, but I have to carry everything on an airplane. So it's different when you're on an airplane than you are when you're in your car, which you can stuff it in every nook and cranny. Right?
Yeah.
So, but I did buy this little guy. And this is a wool applique kit. I'm so excited to try this. So I wanted something that when I travel and I'm not the driver, that I could actually work on something. And I've never done wool applique. So I bought that, and that was my little treat.
I love doing wool applique. I was telling Lynn earlier this evening before we went live that we had this camp in the inland lake. It had no hydro. It was camp, the Northern Ontario style camp, and you boat access only. And hubby would read in the afternoon, horizontally with his eyes closed. And I'd sit there and I'd go, because I didn't have a sewing machine there. There was no hydro. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And one of my really good friends said, you have to take up applique. So I had tried doing the needle turn stuff, which I failed at miserably. I've done it. I have a couple of pieces, but it just wasn't my bag of tricks. So that's when I started doing red work and wool felting or wool applique. And it's absolutely fun. I have several pieces and a whole drawer. But Lynn, so when I was at the quilt show in Guildford, I fell in love. I buy cool cards when I'm somewhere. If there's cards and they're done by an artist or a child or something. Anyway, one of the guild members made these gift cards, and they're just little pieces of fabric, and she's embellished them. Little stitching down with her sewing machine. So I'm going to put my hand here. So it's just a greeting card, blank on the inside. Look at how cute this guy is.
Very cute.
He's so cute. So yeah, I'm thinking we need to start doing some of these.
Yes, we could have a card making day
in our copious amounts of spare time.
Right.
Here's my fave.
That's
so just
nice.
Cute. I love stuff like this because sometimes you have those special friends and you need to send them a card. And yeah, cool.
Yeah. So, we're always curious with people as to, what you guys are interested in. Both of us have, teach regularly. And so
it's the season to start thinking about what are we presenting for our September, October, November, December.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I don't know what you guys want.
Yeah. So definitely in the comments of this, we're looking for ideas, techniques maybe that you want to learn. Do you just want to have a day where you sew with someone who can help you figure out why things are just slightly not right? I do have a bunch of dates scheduled out in Middlebury, Vermont at the Quilters Corner. I got a couple of finishing schools during the summer, and then I am doing Alaska in the fall again there. Yeah. But certainly we're always looking for what the public is interested in.
Cindy, who we interviewed a couple of months ago, is always going, Carla, what are you teaching? And I'm going, well, what does everybody want? Because from our perspective, generally what it is I may think something's really cool, and you spend time and you make the sample and you put it out there, and nobody wants to do that. So it's nicer when, it's sort of like asking about supper. What do you want for supper? Right. And everybody goes, oh, I don't know. So you make, I don't know.
And nobody's happy.
Meatballs and macaroni. I didn't want meatballs tonight. And it's like, well, speak up.
Yeah. So anyway, we're always looking for feedback from you guys about what you're interested in learning or what you might be having trouble with. Because you're probably not the only person that's having trouble with that. Or
I am going to put, I think, Alaska in at Cindy B's, I'm thinking, for the fall.
Yeah.
Just to let you know. And we have to get together and go through my pile of fabric for your block of the month, because I can't remember what fabric's going where.
Yeah. So one cool thing that has happened with my block of the month as well is that it has been recolored in a fabric line that's coming out, that they're just taking orders for now, which will come out in 6 months. And it happens to be Deb Tucker's Wine Country. So my block of the month is a 3-color quilt, right? Purple, blue, and green. Well, Wine Country is purple and green. It is a lavender green fabric line. So this quilt has been recolored, and there's a conversion table, that tells you which SKU numbers and what those colors look like. So that will be available as well. So it is it is easy enough to convert it over to other fabrics. So I'm excited about that. And as soon as I can share that image, I will share it.
Is that a shop that is bringing, do you know the shops that are bringing in the new colorway?
There's a shop in Ohio that's bringing it in. And now that I've done it, I think Island Boutique will have that in mind. So yeah, because they have the conversion. So, or the translation table. So yeah, so that's kind of cool. So a couple other things. We did get a note from Creative Grids today, or Checkers, our distributor, that acrylic prices have gone up again. So that's the clear stuff that makes all those fancy rulers of ours. So
Studio 180 rulers are probably going to go up.
So we've been notified of a price increase mid-June with all the Creative Grids rulers. Not the mats, not the cutters, not any of the other Creative Grids product, but just the acrylic rulers.
So if the acrylic rulers for Creative Grids is going up, you can bet dollars to donuts any of your other template, or like I said, the Studio 180 tools, probably theirs will be finding some kind of a price hike in the near future. Right. So I will definitely look at my inventory for sure for November for Quilting in Killarney, of which I want to mention to everybody, I need 20 to make it go, and I'm 4 people short. So if you're thinking about it, stop thinking about it and just do it. Come and play with me. We're going to have a ball. Yes.
Yeah. So the other thing about acrylic rulers is Studio 180, about a year ago, I think, came out with first choice rulers, which are standard. They're rulers. They're not trim down tools. They're rulers. Me to go get mine? Yeah. You get yours while I talk about this, because mine is on a different floor of from where I'm sitting. So it's a little bit harder for me to get it. And anyway, they came out with 2 sizes, 7 by 13, and I think 4 by 11. Anyway, they have special angled lines on them that really make it convenient for when you want to find an angle either right at the edge of your fabric or at the 1/4 inch seam allowance back. So they are now coming out with, tomorrow, if you're on their newsletter as a retail customer, you'll see there's the first choice ruler. Okay. Yeah. You'll see that they have
all the angles coming off a 1/4 inch off the edge of the ruler. And then on this side, the angles come off right at the edge.
Yeah. So it's really, really a cool ruler.
This
for
one
many
is
reasons.
4 by 14.
Yeah. So they are now coming out with 3 more sizes.
Yeah.
So
And this
you'll
one,
see that active tomorrow. I believe tomorrow is the launch day for those 3 sizes to the retail market. So super excited about that.
Creative Grids has come out with a rotary cutting mat that has no lines on it. Now, if you've done any classes with me, you've been well versed in my rulers. My cutting mats are all turned, my ulfas are turned upside down. There's no lines because we use the lines on our rulers and not the lines on the mat. And the lines on the mat sometimes actually, I quilted years ago, and one of the girls was an ophthalmologist, and she asked questions like, do you ever get a headache? Do you find that your eyes, like, you just start after a while? And we cut a lot. So like if you're cutting enough fabric for a quilt, what happens when you're looking at the lines on the ruler, and then there's the obscure lines on your mat, your brain has to cancel out the lines that we don't need. So you get more bang for your brain buck if you flip that mat or use a mat that doesn't have any lines on it at all, because basically your mat is only there to protect the surface of your table from your rotary cutter blade. So I'm so excited because people keep saying, Karen K. Buckley came out with all these brand new mats, and they're pink and blue, but they're printed on both sides. And I'm like, no, don't print on both sides. So I will be bringing some of those into the studio. If you think you want one, give me a call in the next couple of days, because I'll put my order out next week, so that then you can make sure that I have them in the studio for you. I don't know
if
the price.
You're here in the States and you want one, go to your local quilt store and tell them you want one of those, and they will get it from their distributor for you, whether, wherever you are.
Yeah.
I am really trying to push people to use their local quilt stores, because if you don't, they won't be there for you when you want them. So
here's the problem we face up here, Lynn, a little bit, is a lot of the quilt stores don't like ordering, because Checkers is the only one that sells creative grids. Right. So a lot of the quilt stores don't like ordering from US companies, because they don't like doing all the extra paperwork. It's just difficult invoicing, because everything comes in US dollars, and they have to do the conversions and the blah, 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 blah. And the misery goes on. I don't know. I've just gotten used to it. And there's things that they supply that I can't get anywhere else. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, those are sort of the gadgety things we had for you about mats and about rulers and the acrylic. So when are we going to talk again?
Well, we are thinking about pulling in a special guest next month. I've been away, so I have to send the special guest an email and ask her what day is good with her. We're hoping that it will be the 23rd. We're hoping, but I will
say the 23rd. But we're not going to officially announce it until it's confirmed.
Yeah. And she's a really cool lady. She's a really good friend of ours, and she does something totally different in her quilt shop. So it'll be fun to have her on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's all I got today.
I'm starting to feel like Zoom. Summer's coming, summer's going. Zoom.
Yes, it is. I mean, 2 days, it'll be June. I don't know where May went, but May's just about in the books. And I guess I'm just going to have to.
England.
Yeah. Yep.
Our grass is long. I haven't even looked at any flowers. There's work. And the river is still high. And we have one of our inland lakes that's very, very big. And my heart goes out to all of the cottage and campers on Lake Panage. The water came up so high that it's done terrible damage to the marina, a lot of people lost their docks, their decks. It's just been horrendous. So camping season, which started on May 24th here in our neck of the woods, was a little bit different because they couldn't put their boats in properly. They've lost their docks for, the marina docks aren't functioning. So yeah, sad news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the
Yep,
river's
the weather is definitely, I don't know, up and down weather. It's just
our floating dock is disconnected from the main deck for the winter for the ice, and the water's so high that we've lost the poles that go into the ground, and so it's pivoting around. It's too cold to go swimming. It's too cold. Anyway, so
okay. Well, it's been a great chat. Hopefully you enjoyed the chat tonight. Thanks for joining us. And be sure to like and follow us. That's how we get to stay on here.
Yes, hit that thumbs up button. That is so important.
That's right.
And subscribe. That doesn't mean that we send you emails. It just means that you get notification when we go live.
That's right. You can choose to ignore us or not, or join us. Okay, we love hearing your thoughts.
More fun.
So we always love enjoying the comments, the questions. It's why we do this. So keep stitching, keep creating, keep the passion for this craft alive, and let us know. How are you doing? Send us a photo.
Go find a quilt show. Get inspired.
Yes, go find a quilt show. Grab a buddy. Go to the quilt show. Find the strawberry shortcake. Eat that too. But yeah, and remember, enjoy your journey. Okay, because it's your journey and not anybody else's. So until next time, keep stitching.
Bye from me.